What's up, Stash family? So I finally sold out of my Ford position. Long overdue, I know, but I was trying to be super optimistic on Ford and hoping they can, turn things around and have a nice rally. Now, Ford used to be one of those, blue chip, inexpensive companies that you can count on, that quarterly dividend that they used to pay out in months 3, 6, 9, and 12. Now, Ford suspended their dividend, quite a few months ago, and you don't get much capital appreciation either on Ford because they have been on a decline. So for me, it's kind of like, what's the point in holding in Ford? I didn't have a small position, but I own 20.15 shares in Ford. I'm also going to be showing you the transaction and how much I got out of selling out of Ford, as well as we look at the full stash portfolio. So if this is your first time hanging out, I'm Mike the Investor. I'm a YouTube creator, brand influencer, and an online entrepreneur in the making. So be sure to go ahead and smash that like button and also click that subscribe button as well. And let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Alright investors, welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead and pull up the Stash app so we can see how the Stash portfolio is performing. So as we see here, my portfolio value is $1,314.30. I'm currently down under 1%, which is equivalent to 0.83%, and that is $11.01. Now, as you can see, for the cash to invest, I have $122.85, and most of that is from selling out of my Ford position. So as we scroll down a little bit, before we look at each individual position, we're going to look at the activity. As we hit the see all, I'm going to scroll down, and you'll be able to see I invested $15 in Keurig Dr. Pepper, and I had my $15 auto deposit, which I invest $15 every single week into this portfolio, and then I invested that additional $15 into Berkshire Hathaway, and then I sold out of Ford on June 30th, as we see here. So if I click on that, it will pull up the transaction, and it's going to show you the amount was $121.83. And I told you I had 20.15 shares. I will place the last Stash update card up here, so if you want to check that video out after this video ends, be sure to do that and you'll be able to see my full Ford position. So after looking at this Ford transaction, you can see I have another $15 deposit into this portfolio, and also I have a deposit for $2.02 from the Stash security lending income. Now it doesn't cost you anything. All they do is kind of use your assets, and you get basically kind of like a payment every single month for them using that. Now I haven't seen any decline or any funny business on my portfolio or my accounts, and it's just like a dividend payment that I reinvest back into one of my positions. So it's pretty cool in my opinion. And as we scroll up, you'll see I invested that $15 deposit into corporate cannabis, and then I have my $1 subscription payment. Now that comes out of the bank account that you have connected to Stash. It does not come out of your overall portfolio value, so you do not have to worry about losing your overall capital. And then as we go up again, you can see I have the additional $15 deposit again for this week, and I invested that into Comcast for $15. So that is my full, portfolio activity for the past couple weeks. So after looking at my activity, we're going to scroll up and hit the see all, and now we're going to look at each individual position that I own. Now I have just a total of 6 positions after selling out of my Ford position, which gave me 7 positions at that time. So the first position we're going to look at is Aurora Cannabis. Now I'm actually down the most out of all of my positions on Aurora Cannabis. So as we scroll down to the value, you can see it is $201.35, and I'm down 10.06%, and that is equivalent to $22.53. Now my average price is $13.35, and my number of shares is 16.76 shares in this position. After looking at Aurora Cannabis, we're going to move down to Comcast. Now these are the only 2 positions that I'm currently down on in this portfolio. So as we look at the overall value, $186.21, and I'm down at 7.23%, which is $14.52. Now for my average price, $43.67, and my number of shares is 4.59 shares in the Comcast position. So after looking at Comcast, we're going to move down to Berkshire Hathaway, and this is one of my main core positions here in the portfolio. As we scroll down to the position, my overall value is $199.81. I'm currently up just 1.66%, which is $3.27. Now, my average price is $179.69, and I just have 1.09 shares in this position. So after looking at Berkshire Hathaway, so now we're going to look at my main core position in this portfolio, which is Facebook, and I'm also up the most on out of all of my positions in the portfolio. So as we scroll down, the portfolio value for this position is $253.20. I'm currently up 31.70%, which is not bad, and that is $60.94. Now my average price, $186.09, and you can see for the number of shares, it is 1.03 shares in this position. And if we go to the overview, you can see Facebook's last price is $245.07. So for my average price at $186, I think is not bad, and that's why I haven't bought any more into Facebook, because I'm wanting that average price to drop a little bit lower than where I currently bought in at, if I get lucky enough. But if it drops down to, close to 200, I would definitely be buying more of Facebook. Also, Facebook is invested in the cryptocurrency space, also with them trying to implement their Facebook 𝗪𝗓𝗧, and they're also invested in some other foundations as well in the cryptocurrency space also. And if you know anything about what I've been kind of preaching about in the last few videos, my mindset on investing are companies that are invested in the cryptocurrency space, because I believe that's where technology and all of our payment systems are going to be going in the near future. After looking at my Facebook position, we're going to look at 𝗂𝗧𝗏, and this is the third largest soft beverage company in the United States. As we look at my personal portfolio value for this position, $182.82. I'm currently up just 2.47%, which is $4.41. Now my average price, $28.49, and for the number of shares, 6.26 shares in this position. Now 𝗂𝗧𝗏 has also still been paying their dividend, even with so many companies suspending their dividend, with the economy being shut down, and there are still companies out there that have been consistently still paying their dividend. So this kind of shows, the strong growth of 𝗂𝗧𝗏, also, what their focus is as well. After 𝗂𝗧𝗏, we take a look at the last position in the portfolio, corporate cannabis. Now this is the only ETF that I hold in this portfolio. As we scroll on down here, the overall value, $168.05, and I'm currently up just 2.77%, and that is $4.53 in value. Now as we look at the average price, $12.75, and you can see I have 12.82 shares in this position. Now the corporate cannabis ETF, I think, is a good way to get a nice exposure to the cannabis sector. I believe the cannabis sector is still going to be very large in my opinion, and we still just kind of have to wait patiently and wait to see what happens. So as you can see, the last price currently is $13.10. The risk level is aggressive. This is a aggressive ETF, so you definitely want to do your research when investing into the corporate ETF, also known as alternative harvest. Now they also pay a pretty nice dividend, but they also have a higher expense ratio as well. So if I hit the view more, you can see their expense ratio is 0.75%, so that's pretty high. And then as you can see for the dividend yield, 7.68%. Now there are ETFs that have a lot higher expense ratio, and there are ETFs that have a lot lower expense ratio. Now my kind of take on ETFs are really don't invest in those, but when it comes to the MJ ETF, you kind of don't know what company is going to survive. So if you can get a nice exposure to the whole sector, that would be a pretty smart idea in my opinion. Now, unless you're just fully know what's going to happen, then more power to you. But I'm just going to invest into the ETF, and then I also have the Aurora Cannabis company as well. Alright, so after looking at corporate cannabis, that is all 6 positions here in the stash portfolio. As you can see, corporate cannabis, keyword Dr. Pepper, we have Facebook, Berkshire Hathaway, Comcast, Aurora Cannabis, and then we have my cash to invest, which is $122.85. Now, I'm still debating on what exactly I want to do with this additional cash. I'm debating on, do I want to put it in one of my additional positions that I already own? Do I want to add a new position to the portfolio, or do I want to wait for more of a pullback in the market and then implement that capital? So let me know down in the comment section on which idea you think I should do. Just let me know what your opinion is. I'd be very curious to see what you think I should do with it. It's not a lot of capital, but for this portfolio, it can make a nice dent, into a position. So if you like this video, be sure to go ahead and smash that like button for me. I'm Mike the Investor. Remember to stay inspired, stay motivated, invest in yourself, and I will see you guys back next time.